Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Lee Creates. I'm Lee and I'm doing day 30 of Junk Journal January, and the prompt is travel. So I've been playing around with my gel plate a little bit today, trying to get some image transfers done. So that's why my hands are covered in black paint. I did manage to get a couple of reasonable ones, so that's due to go, and I found that from black and white photos they work better. That one isn't too bad. That one is a disaster, it didn't work at all. This one wasn't very good. And then I also played around with adding some water to the plate to move the paint and create some interesting backgrounds. So I'll be showing you in future videos how to do things like this. This one I like. Yeah. So, so travel. I just thought I'd chuck that in there. Here's useless information for you. Travel, yes, that's what we're doing. And I've got a picture of a lady walking away, so she's travelling away somewhere. She's going down a path to something. So she's going to be my focal point, and I just want to make some sort of interesting background. And I'm just going to spread some gesso on the pages. I want to spread it around really thin. It's a really wet day here today, and it won't dry for hours if I don't make it really thin. I also need something to go under that page. As usual, not organised. Can you believe it's the 30th of January? Unbelievable. So, it's so cliche, isn't it, though, to be saying things like that. You're always commenting on the weather or how fast the year is going. All that sort of good stuff. Anyway, I guess that's just because we're humans and that's what we do, isn't it? Okay, so I've got some gesso on there, so that's going to make a nice ground for everything else to go on. If I do collage, I'm probably going to have to do some of the clear gesso over the top. And what have I got here? I might actually use some of this stuff, some of this ones that didn't work out so well, like this. I also did one on the other side that didn't turn out very well, but it's nice. I like the colour, so I'm going to put some of that in there. So I'm just going to lay in a little bit of collage and maybe a little bit of texture paste. I don't want this one to be too busy. But, you know, we need to get all the standard stuff in there. So I'm just going to stick some pieces of this down. And I've got some of that black and white from yesterday. Might throw a bit of that in as well. Alright, I'm going to use my Liquitex matte gel medium to glue everything down. See where we go from there. So when I think of travel, I don't necessarily think of like jumping on an aeroplane and going somewhere. I might think about paint travelling across a page, that sort of thing. So my brain works that way. Or a pattern travelling across a page. Pathways, that sort of hullabaloo. Now this gesso is not dry properly, but that's okay because this medium is meant to be mixed with paint. It's a painting medium and it just works perfectly as a glue. so it doesn't have a problem playing friends with gesso. We've had so much rain here today. I couldn't really tell without measuring how much there is, but I'd say, I don't know, 6 or 7 inches maybe, just from where it's up to on the rain gauge. And I had to actually go outside, and we've got a fence with a concrete barrier around the bottom of it. I had to break, with a big crowbar thing, break some holes in the concrete barrier because the water wasn't getting out of the yard, and the yard was filling up with water. So went out there and broke some of the concrete up with the crowbar and made a couple of little places where the water could escape out of the yard. The garden shed had about 4 inches of water through the bottom of it. But I was over at the shopping centre this morning. I was in a meeting actually at the community hall, and they got a car park out the back. And when I came out, it really started raining heavily while I was in there. And there was a lady standing next to her car, and without a word of a lie, she was standing in about 8 inches of water. So, yeah. And then it just rained and rained more and more after I left. So goodness knows what ended up out in that car park. And there's a school over the fence, and like parts of the school ground was underwater. They're not good. I'm really liking this orange and black and white together. This paper has actually gone a funny colour because it was black and white. Now it's more like a black and cream. Oops, that's on the floor. Just going to put a bit along here. I should move my pathway. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Sirens, can you hear them? Probably a traffic accident of some sort. Quite common, of course, when it's raining. People don't seem to drive to the conditions. Yesterday when I did my page that's got the magazine image on it, and I just said at the end about it being simple, somebody commented that they thought I sounded disappointed in what I'd done, and I wasn't, but I sort of felt that some of my viewers might have been expecting me to do something a little bit more complicated. It was quite a simple one yesterday, and that didn't take me long to do, so you got to see pretty much the whole video in real time. There wasn't much fast forwarding through it, but that was all that I meant when I said it was a simple one. But I loved it. I really did like it. So I wasn't disappointed with it at all. But I think sometimes, quite often when I put a person into one of the pages, they're not as popular either. So yeah. But if I'd filmed the making of the gel print, it would have been a much longer video. But yeah, I didn't do that. I just used one that was already made. Can you see where I'm going with this? Do you get it? See where I'm going? I'm traveling. Okay, sorry. We'll leave the dad jokes alone. So I'm making a pathway for my person to be walking down, sort of. I probably could have done a more like a different shaped path, but I think I like that. She really should be down here somewhere, shouldn't she? Okay, let's put some paper down here. This copy paper that I printed on is quite thick and it's sort of separating a little bit when I'm getting that white edge when I tear it. But that's okay. So if I put an extension to the path, and then she's going to be something like that in there. Alrighty, I think that'll do for that stuff. And I've got some nice colours I want to put in here. And I have given up on that original palette that I started using. Yeah, I just wanted to brighten things up. So I'm just going to let that dry for the moment, and then I'm going to add some paint in there. Alrighty, I think that's dry enough to work on. I've put a few colours out, and I don't want to use a paintbrush. I want to scrape my paint on. So I've got a little painting knife. I might have to change my attack. So this is Payne's Grey, this one. And I've got a little bit here of Prussian blue, which I really like with the orange. And I think I should get some of that up here. Just trying to get this nice and organic looking. Let's do some Payne's Grey on there, but it's okay. Because if I get it too saturated in colour, I can just go in with my brayer and lighten it a bit. I think I probably will have to do that because I'm losing my path. Okay, so let's go back to the blue. I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, I haven't planned what I'm doing. I'm just playing with the colours that I like putting together. School must have finished. I can hear kids yelling outside. I'm not sure where they come from. I don't know of any children immediately within my vicinity. Might be from around the corner or something. But we do have that parkland across the road running along the river, so you get a few people come from there, or for there. And there's an art union house just down the road, about 4 houses down from where we are. There's been a few people you wouldn't normally see hanging around. Don't like that. I'm going to brighten that up a bit. Need to get the paint away from my bits here. This figure that I'm going to be putting in here, she was from a story about, well, she's an artist and she makes natural dyes, and she dyes fabrics, which is what her dress is made out of, some dyed fabric. So I sort of think that she fits really nicely into this. Okay, so I need to define my pathway. Can't really see it anymore. So I think I'll use just some white gesso and my finger brush. I've got enough in the lid. Actually, I've got a sponge here. Maybe the sponge will be better. No, let's just go the finger. I like that better. Get a nice softer edge when you do the finger. Okay, now I just want to brighten these orange bits up a little bit, because what happened was the gesso has sort of covered over some of the orange a little bit. Oops. And dulled it. I want them to be a little bit more vibrant. And this is actually the same colour that I did the print with. It looks a bit duller because of the black that's there with it. Acrylics have a tendency to dry a little bit dull, which is why they always look nice and bright when they're wet and not so bright when they're dry. But it's easily fixed because you can use a varnish or something to brighten them up. Okay, so now what I would like to do is put back in a little bit of darkness in some places. So I've got that Payne's grey sitting there. So I've just watered that down because it's a dimensional paint, so it's got a lot of, it's very heavy bodied. I like the corners to be dark too. It's just something I picked up when I was learning to paint, and I sort of do it a lot. go up the edge of it. Give it a bit of a frame. This finger's going to be looking charming by the time I'm finished. But never mind. It'll come out eventually. So I like that dark edge around it. Now, I wonder if I can get some of that paint onto here. Spread it out a bit and then put some on with the brayer. That's not too bad, I quite like that. I'd like another one in there somewhere, probably here. And just a little bit there. Okay. That should do for that. Now, I've got this lovely yellow green here. I'm just going to squirt it straight onto the page and then smush it around. It's called yellow green, and it completely changes when it mixes with white. That colour. There's a little bit left on my finger. Must be starting to fine up outside. I can hear the birds chirping out there. Wow. Is this upside down? No, I turned it around. I'm just going to put some white dots on the Payne's Grey on these spirals. This is that's a stamp I made myself. That one. So I carved it myself out of, it's called Easy Carve. It's just something that you can get from the art store. I just thought I'd have a go at making my own stamp. They weren't really that good. They're good for this sort of stuff, but I was trying to carve out a bird. No, that didn't work. It was hopeless. Okay, I'm going to turn the page around so it's not putting my arm in the wet paint. Love dots. I feel like I want to dot all the way around the edge. Yeah, maybe I will. And I've just entered the twilight zone. I have a pen in my hand and I'm going to go a little bit cray here. So yeah, I just go to town with this marker and a black marker, and I'm not sure, I do something else. Can't remember, I have to watch it and see. Oh, that's right, yeah, it was Prussian blue paint and the end of a sponge. I was sort of trying to make like a fence or a border or something. Not a page border, I mean a border, you know, to stop, as in a barrier. So much for not being busy. I think I did mention that right at the beginning of this one. I didn't want it to be too busy, but here we go. Can't help myself, can I? Okay, time to put my traveller in. Oops. So I think she can go there. Glue on her. I think I'll use art glitter glue if I can find it here somewhere. Used it yesterday. Here we are. Boy, does my workspace need cleaning up. It is a mess. I was keeping it pretty good, tidying up after each video, and then it just sort of got away from me. And especially playing with the gel plate, that takes up a lot of room. You need room for the gel plate, you need room for your paper, you need room for a brayer off sheet, you need room for your paints, you need room to, or somewhere to put your roller on, your brayer. So yeah, it all makes for a big mess, but very worth it, of course. And I think like she needs an outline of some sort, and I did manage to find my Stabilo all pencil, so I'm just going to go around her, give her a little bit of like a drop shadow. Let me know in the comments what you think about this one, and are you interested in like jelly print videos, because I was planning on doing a couple of jelly print videos. Looks like I'll put my hand in that paint there. Yeah, and do you want like beginner videos, or maybe I could just start out as like a beginner type stuff and then get a little bit more complicated, which would sort of be like your natural progression as you learn how to do it. Yeah, I want to write something. Alright, I decided to cut some letters out of the magazine, and I've made up a little statement: take the unordinary path. And I've restocked my sloppy gesso for splatters, so I am going to put some splatters in here. I actually think I might put some other colour splatters in as well. This might be a bit thick. It's still thick. Okay, it's a bit thick. I need to water it. Still a bit too thick. That's okay. Should I put gold? I think so. Some gold splatters. Now, where in this mess is my watercolours? Maybe I'll put them away. I did. Amazing. Okay. It's just sitting on the surface at the moment because of the glossiness of the magazine page, but it's alright. It will dry as long as I don't bump it. Will be good. I was thinking maybe some blue, some of this Prussian blue, a few splotches of that, like that. Just a couple, not too many. And I think I'll leave it. I'll leave it as that. Okay, I love this. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. So, there we go. We've got my patchwork pathway. What's that? That's a hair out of the brush. I wonder what it was. Yes, so I've got my pathway and I've got my lady walking down my path, and I've just got an assortment of nice earthy sort of colours, and then take the unordinary path. Alright, let me know in the comments what you think. Don't forget, tomorrow's the last day of the prompts, so it's Reflect for the 31st. And yeah, so I'm not sure what I'll do there. I was thinking if it's Reflect, I might go back and redo one of the previous ones that I did. Maybe if I go back and do the first one, the very first one again. And just in, I don't know, just for the heck of it, to see how I've moved along during the month. Anyway, see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Thumbs up, thumbs down if you really hate it. Join the art gang. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And I shall see you tomorrow. So have fun creating your own masterpiece. And hugs and cheers from Australia. Hooroo. Bye.